of the mainland and has recorded his 15th win, his 13th knockout of his young career. But he's a comer.
Middleweight special attraction scheduled for 10 rounds of boxing. Presenting to you first on my left, fighting out of the red corner. Entering the ring wearing white trunks with red and blue trim. Fighting out of St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. He weighed in at a trim and ready 156 and 1/2 pounds. His record includes 51 wins, 4 losses with 47 big wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former WBA junior middleweight and 2-time WBC middleweight champion of the world. Please welcome the hard-hitting Julian, the Hawk Jackson. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, this 10-round main event, wearing red trunks with white trim, fighting out of Montebello, California, by way of Mexicali, Baja California, Mexico. He weighed in at 157 and 3/4 pounds with a record of 15 wins, 1 loss. He has 9 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the NABO light heavyweight champion, introducing Leonardo Aguilar. Once again, Lou Moret is our referee in charge now to give instructions. 10-round scheduled bout.
Giving your instruction, you lead the reglas. Any questions? Preguntas?
Tail of the tape for these two guys. Aguilar's 5'9", Jackson 5'11". He's heavier, 157 and 3/4. Jackson 156 and a half. Jackson's 35, 7 years older than Aguilar, and he has a discrepancy of 7 inches in the reach department. Now Jackson looks like what he has been, a magnificent fighter, a great former champion. He is well muscled and certainly appears to be fit and ready to go. And Aguilar is like that, don't judge a book by its cover, because this guy doesn't look like a fighter till you see him in action. We've seen him in all kinds of weights and all kinds of shape and everything else, but
I'll tell you, he's looking more and more like a fighter each time we see him, Tom. I can't even believe my eyes. The difference in this guy's physique is startling. I mean, he's lost 41 pounds since April, Aguilar, and he weighs 17 pounds less than when we last saw him here just a couple of months ago when he beat Victor Cordova.
We've got a lot of before and after pictures we'll show you in just a bit. He has never been in with anybody, I would safely say, who can punch or who is as good a fighter as Julian Jackson.
Jackson usually doesn't waste a lot of time, Tom. He usually comes out and is looking to get you out of there as fast as possible. But keep in mind again that Jackson, who is turning southpaw here, he has not fought in over a year, so he may need to get a little of the ring rust off himself.
Sitting between Rich Morata and yours truly, Tom Kelly, is Kennedy McKinney, who's bout with Marco Antonio Barrera. Back in February, the 3rd is one of those bouts where everybody said, where were you and did you see that fight and was it something special? Kennedy, thank you for joining us. Do people talk to you about that fight back in February?
All the time. People saying that's one of the greatest fights of this year. And it's going down as the fight of the year, so I really hope I get that award, and I hope that me and Marco gets back in the ring for a rematch.
Well, you've answered a question I had for you. Then I know that you would like very much, I'm sure, to get back in with Marco Antonio Barrera, and I think the powers that be, I'm speaking, I guess, about Forum Boxing, they'd love to rematch you two guys again. I think it'd be tremendous.
It'll be a great fight. The first fight was a good brawl, but the second fight, I think it'll be more of a boxing match on my part. I know I'm not going to get in there and punch with that young man because he is a good fighter.
You showed that night, though, that Barrera can be hit and Barrera can be hurt and Barrera can be dropped.
Frankly, the first time I think we've seen Barrera hurt was that night when you fought him, Kennedy.
Well, I think Barrera, that fight, I was the biggest puncher that he'd ever fought. besides Eddie Cook, and I think Eddie Cook wasn't in the greatest shape he could be. But that fight, I mean, I think I'm a pretty good puncher for this weight division. I've knocked out a few guys, and I put it on him, but he takes a good shot.
Yes, he does, but for the first time in his career that we've seen him, he was hurt. You had him up against the rope right over there, sagging against ropes. If they hadn't been there, he might have gone down. Pretty good first round here. Jackson appears to be in pretty good shape, and Makweche, who's Bigfoot, that's Aguilar in the red trunks, crimson white, trying to stay away. That's the end of round number 1.
You know, I think Aguilar's very proud of his body there, Tom, the way he was bouncing around. He could hardly wait to show it off when he got in the ring. And here's why, Tom. Take a look at him less than a year ago, screen left, weighing 186 pounds. Then June of this year, still, fat, basically, at 174 pounds. But he's in shape tonight. We've never seen Aguilar look like this here tonight. And there he is at 157 3/4, a svelte Leonardo Aguilar.
But I tell you, most of the women in the audience have got to be writing or calling or something about how did this guy take off 40 pounds and look that good. He may have the best infomercial going on how to lose weight and do it in rather graceful style and everything.
He lost a lot of weight. He looks good, though. He looks real good.
And he doesn't look like a fighter. When you put the two guys together, Kennedy, why Jackson stands out as a guy that is obviously a former great champion and a fighter, and yet this guy is very good. We've seen him do some amazing things, this Aguilar, and you certainly can't overlook him. He is a tough customer. This
Tom,
is round 2.
I wanted to ask Kennedy about the fact that, Kennedy, you've accomplished an awful lot in your career. You've done so much. You've been a world champion. You fought in great fights. You fought all around the world. But the fact is that more people seem to have gained a superior measure of respect and for you and your heart and your courage and all the other things that you bring to the table besides just your skill as a boxer, but all the things you laid on the table that night in a losing effort. Look what you gained from the public.
Yeah, I think I gained a lot of respect in a fight which I didn't win, and that's kind of amazing to me because I had won so many fights before. A lot of people didn't give me that credit. I think the boxing world had to see me in that type of fight to know that I am a man and that I will fight. And so I think I gained a lot of respect from that fight, and I'm glad I finally got the respect that I think I deserve.
And since that fight, you've come back to claim the 122-pound USBA championship, and so you appear to be fit and ready. And, of course, Saturday night you're going in against Enrique Jupiter. Do you know anything about him?
I know nothing about Enrique, and I don't think it's going to be Enrique this time. I think it's going to be Hernandez, some guy named Hernandez.
I see.
But no, I don't know anything about him. I just know that I'm in great shape. I've been training. My ultimate goal is to get back in the ring with Barrera. That is my ultimate goal, is to get back to beat him. I mean, I saw a few articles in the magazines when that they had wrote Boxing World.
Yeah.
Where they called him. Determined that he's great now when he beat me. So if he's a great fighter now at his early career, then I come back and beat him. That makes me a great fighter. So that's my goal, is to get Barrera back in the ring and to beat him.
Well, I don't think anybody who follows this sweet science will ever argue the fact that Kennedy McKinney is a fine fighter and a great champion. And no matter what happens with you and Barrera in a rematch, I think people realize just what a truly outstanding fighter you are and what a great fight you two guys had. And hopefully the next one will be every bit as good as that February 3rd. I might add that all of the people involved in the Saturday night, September 14th go here at the Great Western Forum. Tonight is going to be Adios Chiquita, are going to be at a press conference tomorrow morning, Tuesday, September 10th, at noon at the Great Western Forum. So you want to come down and see your favorite fighter, including the gentleman sitting between Rich and I, Kennedy McKinney, hear him talk and listen to what they've got to say about the big card Saturday. Well, that'll be a great chance for you to do it. Press conference tomorrow here at the Great Western Forum at noon. Well, I don't know. Jackson's a big-time hitter, guys, but this guy Aguilar standing right there with him, Rich.
No, Aguilar is having a very good round, Tom, a very good round. He was picking up in confidence, and look at him, a scornful look from Aguilar as he goes back to the corner between rounds. Aguilar was really picking up in confidence as that round ended, and I thought he had a very good round and won the round, in fact.
Well, I would imagine, this is Kennedy McKinney sitting between Rich Marotta and I would imagine from a boxing standpoint, if you're in against a guy who's 35, Kennedy, you want to take him as many rounds as you want, see just how good the legs are, don't you?
Yeah, that's what you want to do. I mean, but this kid Aguilar is fighting Jackson back, and Jackson looks like he's in great shape. I don't know, this old man looks like he's ready to fight.
The guy has lost 40 pounds, 17 since we saw him last, and he appears to be in magnificent shape, and he's a lot trickier and a lot tougher in that ring than his outward appearance would give you reason to think. He's very, very clever.
Hey, Kennedy, before you last fought Barrera, there was some bad blood between the two of you. You had some words at the press conference that week, and I know right after the fight, Marco Antonio was still a little bit bitter, but then he came over, apologized, congratulated you. How are you two now between each other?
Well, since the fight, we've become somewhat of friends. We've seen each other around. We shake each other's hands every time we speak to each other. But that's part of boxing. I mean, you have to have that love-hate relationship.
You've got to have respect, no question about it. Anybody that climbs into the ring deserves respect, and in fact demands it and deserves it. Make no mistake about that.
But I think that since the fight, he's calmed down a little bit, and we get along pretty good now.
Well, if both of you are successful Saturday night, would you like to fight this year, first of the year? What? It can't be too soon for you, I suppose, or what? Huh?
Well, I have a plan. I'm going to fight this Saturday, and then I got a rematch with Julian, who's the IBF champion. Because the next time I fight Barrera, I mean, we had a great fight the first fight, but we didn't get paid the big money that I looked to get paid for, and so
you're going to bring the IBF title in the ring with you, huh?
I have to bring that title to make the fight worth its while. Because that's the other night we saw Mike Tyson and Bruce Seldon in there for a minute and some odd seconds. Bruce Seldon made $5 million, and at least I can make $1 million fighting Barrera. So, but I need that title around my waist when we go in to make the fight exciting and make it worth my while.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. At least we know when you fight, you're going to spill every ounce of guts and energy and heart that you have out, and you're not going to leave that ring with anything left in the tank. I mean, as you showed us here, which is not what we saw certainly Saturday night in Las Vegas, and that's why I think people have that feeling about you now, Kennedy.
Well, they got 15 million and 15 and 5, and I think I got about $100,000 to fight Barrera. So I mean, that ain't too fair to me. I like the $1 million paydays, and that's what I'm looking to try to get the next time around. Because I'm 30 years old, and I don't want to do this sport too many more years. But I've had a great career, and the people here at the Forum have made me feel like I'm just one of the greatest fighters out there. So I would love to come back here and fight at the Forum. Oh, you hurt Julian Jackson.
Yes, he did. Hit him and hurt him.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was Jackson was sitting there just watching him do all of his clowning.
And Jackson came back and landed a pretty good left hand of his own as Aguilar was doing a lot of showboating. Kennedy, we thank you not only for February the 3rd, but for all the great moments. And I do hope, and boxing fans everywhere hope, that you and Barrera get back in there and mix it up again. Good luck Saturday night. Good luck in acquiring the IBF title. And we hope to see you again. And give my best to Akbar Muhammad when he's an old friend.
I will.
Thank you and continued success to you.
Thank you for having me.
Kennedy McKinney
Thanks a lot, Kennedy.
will be on the card Saturday night here at the Great Western Forum. We'll be back with round number 3 right after we pause for this message. For round number 3, and we check the scorecard. Excuse me, round number 4, 29-28.
Tom, this is turning out to be a tough fight for Julian Jackson, who now turns around and fights right-handed.
Well, Aguilar, in addition to being a lot tougher and a lot more clever than you would have imagined from his outward appearance, is really an awkward kind of a guy to fight. You just...
Yeah, but he's skilled.
Yes,
he can move,
is.
He can throw a good jab. He has a good time, and he just confounds and I'm sure infuriates his opponents.
And he takes a punch. And grinning here now, and this is the 4th round, because Jackson has landed a couple of solid shots. Now Aguilar throws one that is further south than St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands, I'll tell you that.
Aguilar, although I don't think being careful is really in his textbook, Tom, really should show some degree of respect here, I think, for the punch of Julian Jackson and not get too careless.
Flash of heads there a moment ago. Lou Moret is the third man in the ring. Queche is his nickname. It's called Bigfoot. This guy, in case you've just joined us, he's in the red trunks.
Look at him. Look at him.
Ray, pounding around, and Moret is warning him about it right now. Jackson hits him with a left jab. Nice combination by Jackson.
In Jackson's last fight, Tom, against Quincy Taylor, he was in that fight for 3 or 4 rounds, and that's right about the spot that he began to really fade and began to show his age. In the 5th and the 6th rounds, he was dominated by Taylor. His fight with when he lost the title to Gerald McClellan was a 5-round war. I mean, an absolute warfare. And in that fight, again, he was in the fight for a couple of rounds, then began to fade. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep up the pace or starts to fade here tonight. Oh, against a much lesser opponent, to be sure, in Aguilar than against either McClellan, of course, who I was talking about. But nonetheless, I mean, age could be playing a factor.
Jackson is 35. Good right hand by Aguilar. McCallum and McClellan. Julian Jackson shouldn't fight guys that have an MC in front of their last name. Coming to the end of round 4. We'll be back with more of this middleweight contest.
You, and you have the right to play sports until the cows come home. You have the right to assemble. You have the right to be equipped.
Aguilar comes out. He's in the red with the silver stripe down the side, and the white with the red and blue trim down the side is Julian the Hawk Jackson, 35 years old. 7 years older than his opponent, Queche, the Bigfoot, who is a marvel, really. In case you've just joined us, he is one time was the Mexican heavyweight champion. Fought at 198 pounds at one time. The last time Rich Murata and I saw him here at the Forum, he was 17 pounds heavier.
That was just in June.
So here he is at 157, well within the middleweight limit. And though he may not physically make you think of Sugar Ray Robinson or other great middleweights, he is nonetheless a very clever fighter.
That was a vicious right uppercut from the former world champion.
Jackson, of course, at 35. Age always a question, but he certainly appears to be in great condition. But then again, Victor Cordova looked to be physically very good the last time we saw him too, Rich, and he was put away. Yeah,
Aguilar dominated him. Cordova's reflexes were shot. I wouldn't say that's quite the case with Jackson.
No. Jackson backs Aguilar into the corner, banging away at him, forcing Aguilar to back up.
Aguilar had best be careful.
I repeat myself, I don't think Aguilar, despite 7 years as junior, has ever been in with anybody with quite the punching power or the experience that the Hawk Jackson brings into the ring.
But Julian Jackson is a veteran of 14 world title fights. He has won 10 of those world title fights. He won his first WBA champion at 154 pounds way back in 1987. Defended that 3 times successfully, then stepped up to 160, knocked out Harold Graham, took that, defended 4 more times successfully before he finally lost the title to Gerald McClellan.
He has landed a couple of thunderous right hands here on Aguilar, who's taken him pretty much in stride. And Aguilar says, come on, let's fight. I can guarantee at 35, Jackson didn't get in that ring to get a haircut. If Aguilar wants to fight, Jackson will do his level best, I'm sure. He was 27-0 before he lost a bout. Then he won 17 more before he lost again.
Included in those wins, too, Tom, was a second-round KO of Terry Norris.
So Jackson at 35 may indeed be closing in on the end of his career. But he's been a magnificent champion, and he appears to be moving right along nicely here in round at number 5. It's scheduled for 10.
He doesn't seem to be finding a great deal of humor in Aguilar's antics either.
I don't know that anybody is, really. Certainly not Lou Moret. He's cautioned Aguilar a couple of times about the showboating and the facial grimaces, etc. as Aguilar goes back to his corner. Boxing fans, the Ringsiders Club will offer you select seating, complimentary parking, and exclusive Forum Club membership. Join the Ringsiders Club, see the action up close, and become a part of the finest boxing program in America. Call now. Operators are standing by at 310-673-1773. Now we'll go over to Julian Jackson's corner. Out of the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas. Tom Jackson, Johnny Taco, Don Boy. Very quiet over there. Jackson sitting there, nonplussed. Taco and the rest of them are pretty confident, or quiet at any rate. And the bell. Out they come for round number 6. Middleweights, 160-pounders, or just a bit under. Neither man has been down.
Let's see, Tom, if Jackson can sustain the attack. I thought he really started to pick it up rather than fade in the last round. I thought he had his best round of the fight. His punches seem to be really beginning to come to the fore.
Jackson in the white trunks, trimmed with stripes of red and blue down the sides. Red trunks with silver and gray down the side. Worn by Bigfoot Leonardo Aguilar. Aguilar's got a light heavyweight title, hasn't he?
Yes,
Get back up to defend it. He weighs 157.
The NABO. Well, he's under the limit.
That's right, he is. That's right.
It would count.
he could defend it. Jackson hammering some pretty solid, Pierce shots to the body, Rich.
Now, he's got a tremendous punch, but, you know, Jackson, I don't think has the best of chins. And he can be shaken up and he can be taken out of there. All 4 of his losses, he's been knocked out. And he's been knocked out once each of the last 3 years. By big-time hitters, to be sure. I'm not sure that Aguilar qualifies as a big-time puncher, but what I'm saying is that the guy can be hit and be hurt.
Almost a clash of heads there. Boomerang comes between the two fighters.
You know, for all the laughs we had at Aguilar's expense while he was, you know, fat and overweight and just clowning around in there, he was winning fights, Tom. I mean, his record's 15-1.
Yes. Jackson keeps following him around the ring and landing more of the punches. I'm sure piling up some points with the judges, who are Larry Rosadia, Dick Young, and Raul Caiz. Lou Moretz, the referee. We're at the Great Western Forum, 14th anniversary night, 14 years of outstanding boxing. Great shows, 65 world championships, and of course more to come. Saturday night, big-time fight card. Adios, Conchita. They're saying goodbye to Conchita Gonzalez, magnificent champion. Julio Cesar Chavez and Pepino Cuevas are those 2 of the greatest legends in all of boxing. Plus, Daniel Zaragoza. They're all godfathers to the Chiquita's children. They're going to be here. A special guest. It's going to be a great night. Coming to the end of round number 6, it's scheduled for 10. We'll be back right after this.
For over 15 years, PC Industrial Design has been meeting and exceeding customer design and can't.
About for the 7th round, it's scheduled for 10. These are middleweights. Julian the Hawk Jackson, white trunks. Leonardo Bigfoot Aguilar in the red. Jackson with a pretty good left hand.
Last round I thought extremely close, Tom. Could have gone either way. You could just see just the power of a short punch like that. It's a jolting type punch, and it can knock you back a couple of feet.
Right hand by Jackson. Sends Aguilar backing away. Aguilar may not look like a fighter, may not be physically in the classic mold of a fighter. Jackson certainly is every bit of that. But Aguilar is clever, good boxer, and I think his cleverness and his ability to slip punches, etc., makes him an awkward, tough guy to fight.
Not an easy fight when you've laid off for a year, Tom, especially.
Right. And that is, of course, the case with Julian the Hawk Jackson.
Because a certain measure of your sharpness has gone to the deeper to begin with. And then to try to regain some sharpness against a guy as awkward as Aguilar is difficult.
Jackson landed a pretty good left hand. Aguilar took it, got hit with another one. And then Jackson backs him up. He's bouncing and moving away. Aguilar carries his left hand very low.
Jackson's left still seems to be pretty quick when he throws that hook out there.
Neither man has appeared to be in any trouble. I mean, in any manner, shape, or form close to going down. This is the 7th round. Remember that Jackson is 35 years of age and hasn't fought in a year. That left jab is having some success finding Aguilar. Jackson slipped most of those punches.
Aguilar took that big left on his glove, Tom. Otherwise, that could have been lights out.
Yep. Yeah. Round 7 coming to a close. Aguilar having a busy time of it. There's the bell, and a few punches after the bell.
A good round.
It was indeed. All right, Rich Murata has put together our little weekly report, or bi-weekly report, the devastating dozen. I see you got Tyson moved right up there this week.
Yeah, we have to put him up despite the pathetic effort put forth by Bruce Seldon the other night. We've moved him up to number 4 now, and Barrera up to number 3 behind Jones and De La Hoya. Felix Trinidad at 5, Lopez at 6. Ike Corte, your favorite, coming in at number 7.
I think he's a great fighter. I think Trinidad is too. I tell you, from there aren't any bad fighters on that ticket.
No, and we've moved Mark Too Sharp Johnson up, by the way, into the top 10 at number 9. All right, end of the round here. Bell sounds. That last right-left combination by Julian Jackson came after the round. Tough round to score. I thought I gave a slight edge to Aguilar in that round. You might disagree with me, Tom. It was a very tough round, though.
I do disagree. I thought Jackson hit him more times and was a bit more effective. But my scorecard's up. Jackson back now in the southpaw style.
I think that he's done better right-handed tonight.
I do, too.
But maybe, as Max Schmeling said, I seized something before he fought Joe Louis. So
the first time?
Yes. Maybe he seized something.
He saw nothing but leather and pain the second time. Wanted to make sure we had the right fight.
You know, Aguilar is fearless. He's walking right into the teeth of the tiger here.
He's bearding the lion in his den, no question about it.
And he got tagged that left hook, though, from Jackson.
Yes, he did, in a right hand and another right. Now he's grabbing and holding on. Jackson, for all of his many years and skills, showing the effects of a year off, Rich. He's a little rusty and wild swinging when he closes with Aguilar. This is round number 8, scheduled for 10.
Jackson still looking to set things up with the jab. Pretty good jab he's got.
Yeah. Man has won 51 fights. He's had a WBA junior middleweight title, WBC middleweight title twice. He has scored 47 knockouts and 51 wins.
Yeah, and remember, I mean, the guy was world champion as late as August of last year.
Yes. Boomerette separating the two. Neither man has been down. Neither man is marked up to any great extent. Round 8 coming to a close. It's scheduled for 10, and we'll be back after this.
We have a wonderful...
Bell brings him out. Yet at 76, Aguilar and Jackson, according to Rich's scorecard. This is the 9th round. Nice combination by Jackson. I tell you, Aguilar's got a pretty good chin, Rich.
Yeah, but you could see the sweat and the Vaseline fly off of Aguilar's face when he got hit that crunching right. He felt that one for sure, Tom. And I thought, you know, he was jolted pretty good in that last round by the left hook of Julian Jackson. And I think he got a little shaken right here at the start of this round.
Well, I have great admiration for both these guys. Aguilar, who has come down and make it to the middleweight limit and below, and fighting a guy with the skills of a Julian Jackson. And here's a 35-year-old man taking us into the 9th round here and showing no ill effects regarding his age. Fighting a very tough, talented fighter. I'm impressed with both men tonight.
Julian is not what he once was. He has to be a little more economical with his punches, to be sure, especially after a year off.
Right hand by Jackson. And Aguilar into a crouch and a clinch. Moret separates the two.
I suspect that a few years ago, Julian Jackson would have had little trouble with Leonardo Aguilar.
I'm sure that's true.
But this is what happens when you get up in age.
Yeah, he's an old man at 35, huh?
Difficult to be managed by Handsome Joe. He's just so handsome. I'm sure he steals much of the attention away from his fighters. I wonder if his fighters resent that.
Well,
what are your thoughts on that issue?
I'm sure there is something to be said for that. We got left hand by Jackson in that grab and shove and bang away mode they're in. Round 9 coming to a close.
It was a good right at the start of the round by Julian Jackson, a good left hook at the conclusion of the round by Jackson, and a
big right hand. Jackson nailed Aguilar with a right hand at the end of the round, and Aguilar is shaken up to be sure. Aguilar says, "I'm all right. Don't you believe it?"
No, he staggered back to his corner. You could see it in his legs. That last right really hurt him. Now watch, there'll be one more. That right there, there's the end of the round. Aguilar was unsteady right there. He's wobbling a little. Jackson was signaling to him to go down.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Jackson's behalf, that right hand, he thought he should have gone down.
I want 2 hands this time. I want that right hand working.
All right.
You get me?
Got it.
The instructions over there, it's kind of a whispering Joe Smith routine over there. a short minute between the rounds, isn't it? Out they come for the 10th round. And here we go.
This could be a pretty good last 3 minutes. Julian Jackson's not a guy accustomed to going the distance, Tom. In his long career since 1981, he has fought 55 times, and he has gone the distance in all of those fights only 4 times since 1981.
Well, when you knock 47 guys out of 57 wins, you don't really have to unpack all the suitcase.
And he's been knocked out in all of his losses.
That's right.
So he doesn't go too far, too often.
So here he is at age 35 in the 10th round, having dropped a right hand on Aguilar to end round number 9 that had Aguilar wondering which corner to go to. Jackson trying to claim victory number 52. Aguilar on the move. Jackson pressing forward. Making Aguilar miss.
Frankly, it seems to me as though Aguilar here in the last 2 rounds, Tom, has not been the guy who's been doing the effective punching, but that Jackson has.
Big right hand by Jackson and drives Aguilar back. A left hand. Aguilar looking for some place to run to. Runs, turns, is running away.
Literally.
Yeah. Moret says either stand and fight. And Jackson says, tell the guy the fight is over here. This is round 10 of this middleweight scrap. Aguilar on his horse. Jackson, belying his 35 years, up, dancing and moving, tripping the light fantastic, so to speak. Aguilar with a late flurry here. See the seconds ticking away here in this, the 10th round.
Well, we saw Julian Jackson just once before here a long time ago, back in 1986 here at the Great Western Forum, Tom. He scored a second-round KO over Derwin Richards on the Julio Cesar Chavez Roger Mayweather card.
Couple of big-time left hands. Big-time left hands at the close of the fight. And although I'm sure these two guys are not that enamored of one another, say nothing of the fact that they've gone 10 rounds trying to knock each other out. But they did touch gloves, put their arms around each other, and Jackson followed Aguilar back to his corner. And now Jackson goes back over to his. We'll be back to see how the judges saw this 10-round middleweight go. But first, we'll pause for this important message. Stay tuned.
I picked up the cake.
Did I authorize that? Sort of.
At GHI, we've been helping employers take good care of their employees for almost 60 years.
The judges' cards have been tabulated. Jimmy Lennon Jr.'s got the report. Let's find out who won it. Jimmy, if you will, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Raul Cai scores at 96-94. Larry Rosadia scores about 98-92. Dick Young scores about 99-91. All three in favor of the winner, Julian the Hawk Jackson.
Julian Jackson wins his 52nd bout of a beautiful, brilliant career at age 35. He's not done yet. We'll be back. Well, we're going to stay here and going to talk to him, I guess, if we can get him away from Lou Moret, who's walking him around the ring. In the meantime, under the big hat is McQuache.
I thought he started kind of slow tonight, Julian Jackson, but as the fight wore on, Tom, he got back into it again, remember, and I thought he won the last 4 rounds and pulled away to win this fight.
All right, we'll be back to talk to Jackson in a moment. First, we'll pause.
Entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, home of the Tropicana Resort Hotel and Casino, where tonight, Top Rank Incorporated, in association with the undisputed King of Beers, Budweiser, is proud to present Championship Boxing on ESPN. Let's head right into our first bout of the evening. It's scheduled for 10 rounds in the middle.
Jones and Julian.